Hi guys, Judy here. I hope everyone's doing well. It's Thursday, October 19th, and sorry, I'm coming to you right from the heart of a birth pain. The Northern California fires have been quite an experience, and it hasn't been easy. If you have a heart and you care for people, you can't just you can't be unaffected. Let's just put it that way. And I had a little breakdown today. Just the Lord said I could just cry. I called one of my friends too, and it's been devastating. Not for us, of course. We were protected, and we've been so blessed. Not a hair in our head was touched. Not one of our things were touched, but people did not suffer that same fate very close to us. And the Lord and all his promises and what he showed me all came true. But it was tenuous. It was tight. It was hard to believe it when the fire was right there. And if it wasn't for some people that I just can't thank you, everybody, everyone who made a comment, everyone who's made donations. Oh my gosh. So I almost can't handle it. It's so sweet. And thank you so much for the words that you were given to help push me through and not freak out, because it's one thing to be given a word by God and to stand. It's another thing to stand when you see fire. And I it was scary. Like I called a couple people and I said, "Can you just pray with me right now? Let's just pray in tongues, because I just want to know if I should just take my son and the animals and go and then come back." I mean, I know it's not going to get burned because of his promise, but it's really close. There's now 3 fires closing in, and anyone that has a brain in their head is left, and I'm feeling and hearing stay, but I just needed to hear it again, and the Lord confirmed it through prayers, and so we stayed. And we prayed that the air that we would breathe, because the air is hazardous. It's still hazardous. And the Lord is keeping me breathing, and I've been able to buy air purifiers thanks to people donating and being so kind. And we've gotten some diffusers, and praise God. And that's what we did. And we stayed in the smoke, and the thick smoke. And the air is still really bad. But that's not why I made this video. I'm making this video because I have really good news to tell you about our departure. So he's been telling me every single day, which is why you've seen the title of my last 2 videos, Just Look Up. Just look up. I know what you're seeing. He knows he made me with a really tender heart, and it's been a curse, but it's been a blessing, okay? I know I sound tough, but I'm really not. I've just had to become that way so that I don't get, beat up by the world. But believe me, I'm anything but tough-hearted. I mean, I'm anything but tough. I'm very tender-hearted, but I have not been able to. It's been very hard to see this devastation. Not for me, of course. We were protected, but everywhere around us. And you know what? I'm glad I have a tender heart. I'm glad I can cry and drive in my car and just see things and cry, because that's God's heart. And so I'm glad I have that. But I've asked him to take it away. It just makes it extra hard to be on this earth, because it's just hard. Anyway, but he just keeps me the way I am. And I try not to cry. But there's been a lot of misplaced animals and just a lot of needs, and I'm just one person. I can do something. I just can't do everything. But the Lord, he helped me to rescue a little kitty today who had smoke. His white was brown from smoke, and he was limping, and I was able to feed him, but I couldn't quite catch him. So I know he escaped some of the fires, and I know that I already prayed for him. I prayed with a friend that that the kitty would come back and I could get a nice, good picture so I can put it online so we could try to find out whose it is. But until then, I'll take good care of it if it comes back. It just looked really afraid, like it just really wanted help, and it just was too afraid to come to me. Anyway, a lot of misplaced animals. There was a dog on the freeway today, just on 101, which can really kill you. And just animals that had run from fire. And anyway, but here's my good news. So ever since this started on October 8th, the evening of October 8th, it was like any other regular night. I brought my son's friend home. I bought a bunch of 15 loaves of bread. I put them in the trunk of my car. I bought jars of peanut butter and jelly. To be ready to do the ministry at the school that I do. Plus, I'm teaching, but then I do my peanut butter jelly ministry. It was just a regular day, and it's just not been regular. I mean, it's regular. People are going back on the freeways, trying to work and different things, but it's, he's showing me, he's letting me know it's not going to go back to regular. He's coming on a regular day. It's still a regular day for most people, but if you're a bride, that it's time to go. And in that sense, it's not regular for you. But it still is. The world thinks it's a regular day, and that's when he's coming. But for the bride, we know. We know when he's telling us it's time. Well, I'm going to give you all the flirts that he's been giving me, and you're going to just be jumping up and down with excitement. And I am really happy right now about what the Lord's doing. It's just hard to be in a birth pain area and see all the suffering, and you guys know how I feel about animals and people and everybody. It's hard. Okay, so he wouldn't let me help somebody who was crying. He said no. And that was really hard. I went to my yoga class, the Lord and he's been wanting me to go every single day, so I've been going with him every day. And we've had this wonderful time together, and there was a girl that I always leave class a little early to go take a shower before the crowds. And so there's usually no one in there, but there was a girl, and she was in the bathroom and had the door locked and was crying. And her cry was so deep. It was so sad that I was about to knock on the door and just, hug her and help her. And the Lord was like, he stopped me. He's like, this is the cry of the tribulation that is upon us. As soon as I remove you, this is the cry that will be heard through the land. And I was like, okay. And then he said, and this is the cry of salvation. And he was just letting me know, walk away. I do not want you to attend to this cry. Like, this is only the cry that he could save. And so on a personal human level, it was hard to not comfort this person. But I knew if I did, it would be wrong, because the Lord commanded me no. He really let me know, this is the cry. Like, I have allowed this suffering, and I want it to stay that way, because see, he knows how he can get people to come to him. And this shows me we're at the end game when I'm a bride and I'm here and he's not even using me to help. No, guys, because it's time to go home. Because all he's told me throughout this whole fire is stay put, stay with me. I mean, it's weird. I want to go do so many things and he won't let me. I try to, and then it just turns into a big mess, and I wasn't supposed to do it. Because in my human compassion heart, I'm seeing all this stuff, and it's just hard. And he's like, and so when I'm in this place with him, it's just with my groom, it's like he's calling us, because guys, they no longer want to listen and hear. The only cry now is going to be their own cry, and it's going to be a cry of tribulation, but it's going to be a cry of salvation. And that's what he told me. And that shows me that my dad is finally ready to act. He's ready to do this. That means the judgment begins after he picks up the bride. So if he's ready to do it, that means we're going home. And I know he is, because he would not let me go in there and help her cry, because the only one that can help her is him, because he caused her to lose everything. She was one of the people that came in and they gave her yoga clothes because her house burned to the ground. And if it was a directed energy weapon and microwaves and all that, the more I'm seeing, the more I believe it. And it doesn't really matter if it's that or if it was a natural wildfire. The fact is that God has allowed evil to happen, and we know He'll do that. So it does matter because it's a way that people can wake up. I'm glad people are seeing the evil nature of the New World Order, and so that's good. But for me as a bride, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter who's. I already know who's doing it. It's the Luciferian camp, and if God's allowing it, well then blessed be the name of the Lord. And the evil's encroaching in. It's not. It's just I can feel it. He's letting me know I'm not. He's giving me a very strong feeling that I won't even be here to go back to work. And so the word that we've heard from the district is that school starts next Friday, but not for my school. They haven't even said yet, but they will let us know Monday. My guess is that they're probably going to tell us that we can come to work next week on Thursday. But like I said, they haven't revealed the info from my school, but other schools, not all of them, but there's some schools that can start next Friday. Then that would be the I don't know, the 27th. I don't even know anymore. The days are all blending in, but and so he's really called me to just sit with him. He keeps telling me he's coming. It's like that's his answer to everything. It doesn't matter. You're going. And I'm like, but Lord, you're leaving. Doesn't matter. Everything, every little thing. He just wants me to go to yoga, eat salad, and sit with him and sit in the purified air. It's like he doesn't want me a part of what's going on out there because it wasn't for me. It was for the world, and I'm not supposed to make it better because only God is letting me know only He can make it better. And He said to trust Him for the animals that are suffering right now. It's just hard for me to see it. It's just not, I want to do something. And He's like, so I'm praying for all the different ones He's let me see that they're going to be okay, But I don't like being in a birth pain. I don't like being in the heart of a birth pain. This has not been fun. It has been horrible, honestly, the suffering. And I'm so glad I'm a bride because I would not want to be here in a trib. Because I'm reacting to this and I was okay. And this is how much it's affected me. I cried a lot today. Okay, so here's what He's shown me, that's the cry, and that's He's not allowing me to comfort anyone because that's the cry of salvation. He's going to hear those cries, and those people will finally cry out to Christ to be saved, and they will be saved. They'll be saved in the tribulation. But He told me her cry, that deep cry, that was the cry of the soon coming tribulation, and that's the sound that would be heard throughout the land. And that's the sound of salvation. So it was like bittersweet to hear it because He's letting me know that cry is ultimately what's going to save her. That your job is done. Like my job to help on this earth is done. My job to help with the glorified body after the rapture when I come back and I help work the greatest harvest the world has ever seen. That is my time. But my time right now is sitting with Him and looking up. And it's really funny because ever since He fell on my son in 2013, around this time every year, He would start to tell me what He would want me to get my son for Christmas. And I'd always be like, but we're not going to be here for Christmas, Lord. And He'd be like, yeah, I know, but just, but I know you're not, but get this. So I always obey God, even though I don't like when He tells me future stuff. But he'll tell me, yeah, you probably won't be here, but just do this anyway. Well, He hasn't told me anything, and this is always the time where He starts telling me what to get my son for Christmas and what to do in the springtime, and not one plan has He told me to do, not one thing. And He's also told me that when He does tell me things, that they don't have to come to pass, so that I wouldn't stress out. But still, the very fact that He's not giving me one direction at all, it's like I think we finally reached the end, guys. And I encourage you to look at Michelle Jesus Girl's videos. She's a good friend of mine, and I'm going to put a link. But I saw her video, and it was exactly what He's been telling me. It's just, I got to witness an horrific birth pain, and I was told I don't get to do anything to help alleviate the suffering because it was His plan. And He didn't want me a part of it. That's why He wanted me in here with an air purifier, breathing in pretty air, and just relaxing through it all. And it's been interesting. But I'm telling you guys, he's coming. Our dad is about ready to act. He's ready to do the judgment. He's ready. He's ready.